A paradise of turquoise waters, coral reefs and sunlit skies. The perfect family escape in the Maldives. But in just moments, that paradise turned into a nightmare. A young woman's cry for her mother shattered the calm, as shadows beneath the surface revealed a terror no one saw coming. In the next few minutes, we uncover how a dream vacation became her final battle, and why her parents will never forget her last words. Coral Bay. Crystal clear waters, sunlit skies, and coral reefs teeming with life. For 24-year-old Samantha Reed from Florida, this was paradise. She'd traveled with her parents to the Maldives, a postcard-perfect destination famous for its white sands and calm turquoise waters. Samantha was a bright, gentle soul, a university student, passionate about photography and animals. Friends described her as warm, caring, and endlessly curious. For her, snorkeling alongside tropical fish wasn't just a vacation activity. It was a dream come true. It was August 14th, 2021. The day was hot, the sea calm. The snorkeling excursion began like countless others. The group boarded a small tour boat, headed for a reef where colorful fish danced in the sunlight. Samantha, her mom Linda, and other tourists slipped into the warm water, masks and fins on, drifting over the coral. Then, in the deep blue movement, 3 dark, powerful shapes gliding toward the group. At first, they seemed distant, indistinct, but in seconds, the truth became horrifyingly clear. They weren't dolphins, they were tiger sharks. Tiger sharks are apex predators, massive, muscular, and relentless. They can grow over 14 feet long, their jaws lined with razor-sharp teeth designed to crush bone and tear flesh. They don't just bite, they attack with precision and power. Samantha never saw them until it was too late. One surged from below, striking her with brutal force. Linda, just feet away, heard her daughter's voice. First confused, then panicked, then the scream, "Mom!" The water exploded into chaos. The sharks circled and struck again. One latched onto Samantha's arm, ripping flesh and muscle. Another tore at her leg. Her parents shouted for help, but the other snorkelers, startled and terrified, scrambled toward the boat. If you want more true stories of nature's raw and unpredictable power, make sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. What would you do if you saw a predator in the water? Samantha's father, Michael, saw the water ahead erupt with thrashing and red. His mind refused to process what he was seeing, but his body moved anyway. He swam with everything he had, the warm current dragging at his arms and legs like invisible hands trying to hold him back. As he closed the distance, the sight was unbearable. One shark still clamped to Samantha's arm, shaking its massive head from side to side, while another circled just feet away, its shadow cutting across the sand below. The water around her was clouded, ribbons of blood drifting upward in slow spirals. Michael plunged forward, swinging his fists, slamming them into the shark's snout, kicking at its side with his fins. It let go for a moment, only for the second predator to surge in from below, striking her leg with brutal force. The impact spun her body in the water, her mask slipping from her face. Samantha's eyes met his, wide, uncomprehending, and filled with pain. He tried again and again to wedge himself between her and the sharks, but each time they came back faster, more aggressive. On the boat, crew members were hauling other snorkelers out of the water. Shouts blurred with the sound of splashing and panicked breathing. But there was no rope thrown toward Michael, no coordinated push to get Samantha to safety, just a chaotic scramble for survival. Witnesses say the attack lasted less than a minute, but in that short time, the damage was catastrophic. Her right arm was gone, her left arm shredded, her right leg mauled. She was bleeding heavily into the water, which only fueled the shark's frenzy. Finally, her father managed to drag her toward the boat. Crew members helped lift her aboard, laying her on the deck. She was barely conscious, her breathing shallow. The boat sped toward shore, but Coral Bay was remote, and every minute without advanced medical care was critical. Back on the main island, an ambulance met them at the dock, rushing Samantha to the nearest hospital. But the injuries were too severe. She had lost too much blood. Doctors pronounced her dead shortly after arrival. She was just 24. The attack shocked the Maldives and the world. Fatal shark attacks here are extremely rare. In fact, in the decades before Samantha's death, these waters had seen only a handful of such incidents. Experts say tiger sharks are opportunistic hunters, often scavenging, but in shallow reef areas, they can strike without warning. What made this even more tragic was the possibility that it could have been avoided. Later reports revealed that no lifeguards or safety spotters were in the water. The tour crew allegedly failed to warn snorkelers about shark sightings earlier that day. Her parents believed that if the guides had acted faster, Samantha might still be alive. In interviews, Linda and Michael described the scene as a nightmare in slow motion. Michael still hears her scream, the sound of his daughter calling for help he couldn't give in time. Do you think tour operators should be legally required to have shark spotters during excursions? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life survival and tragedy stories. Samantha's death left her family broken. Friends held candlelight vigils in her honor, and her university awarded her degree posthumously. Professors spoke of her passion for learning, her creativity, and her compassion for others. Her parents later launched a foundation in her name dedicated to raising awareness about ocean safety and advocating for stricter regulations on tour operators. They want no other family to endure what they went through. A vacation turned into a nightmare. At home, reminders of her life remain everywhere. Her photographs still line the walls, capturing her bright smile and love of adventure. Her clothes remain folded neatly in drawers, untouched since the day she left. Linda sometimes swears she hears Samantha's footsteps in the hallway, a fleeting echo of the daughter she lost. Michael admits he avoids looking at her pictures because each one reminds him of joy turned to sorrow. The community that knew Samantha describes her as someone who made people feel seen, who carried kindness wherever she went. Losing her so suddenly left a void no words can fill. For her parents, the grief is not something that fades. It is something they carry daily. She was our only child, Michael said in one heartbreaking interview. We went on a family trip, and we came back without her. Even years later, her story continues to resonate. It is a painful reminder that nature is unpredictable and that even paradise can hold danger just beneath the surface. The ocean is beautiful and merciless. For Samantha Reed, wonder turned to horror in seconds. Her story is a stark reminder that in nature, paradise and tragedy can be only heartbeats apart. Subscribe now for more untold true stories where the wild shows no warning.